Thanks to Vintage Brewing Company, a family-owned and operated brew pub in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin, featuring elevated Americana cuisine and an eclectic array of highly acclaimed house-made brews. Stop in for a beer and a bite and enjoy some Midwestern hospitality and our chilled-out retro ambiance. We love what we do and love sharing it with you. Vintage Brewing Company. I think it's home of the Derby Girl beer as well.
It is indeed. I actually was there last weekend and had 2 of the Derby Girl beers.
All right.
Very tasty beer.
Nice. Let's also give some thanks to our sponsor, the Verona Wine Cellar. It's an award-winning liquid asset liberator less than 10 miles southwest from here. Specialty beer and wine with smatterings of other good beverages. Cheers, Verona Wine Cellar.
Turning our attention back to the action on the track, we have Wipeout Scout jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Shantastic McAwesome for the Vaudeville Vixens. Looks like Shantastic McAwesome has picked up a track cut penalty and will be going and spending 30 seconds in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. That does allow Wipeout Scout to break out and take lead jam for herself and the Reservoir Dolls. All right, looks like she's going to break through again, picking up a Mini of Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Reservoir Dolls slowing down that defense there, or that offense rather, waiting until their jammer is there and then doing a little burst to get that pack moving again. Lining up behind her, they're leaving Wipeout Scout to jam her way past the wall of Vixens. Looks like Kenna Vendetta and Tipsy Velvet giving her a hard time and not letting her past. Tipsy Velvet knocking her to the outside. Kenna Vendetta then knocking her to the inside.
Looks like after being knocked around quite a bit in the pack there, she's going to call off the jam.
And score some points for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls up at 152 points. Vaudeville Vixens at 43. Lining up on the jammer line, we've got Jocelyn Hell-Burnell and Charlie Hustle. Jocelyn Hell-Burnell jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. Charlie Hustle for the Reservoir Dolls. And we'll take a minute to straighten something out. I believe we found that it was A-Mag, not A-May. So A-Mag, another shout out to you. A-Mag is awesome. Skate hard.
Got a shout out for the Vixens as a whole. I love you, Vixens. You can do it. V Vixens, smiley heart. It's a nice smiley heart.
Va 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 Vixens. As some of you may know, I did skate for the Vaudeville Vixens for the past 10 years, but now I am a unbiased announcer, announcing both Jocelyn Hell-Burnell and Charlie Hustle on the track, jamming for both of their teams. Charlie Hustle out first with lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls.
Jocelyn Hell-Burnell doing a nice little twist there to stay in bounds. Still working up against Busta Crimes and Blitz Siren, though. Trying to break through the pack.
And then Jean Lane comes back and hopscotch, so she's got a bunch of blockers there to work through getting past, and they are just recycling and reforming right in front of her, doing a good job of defense, while Charlie Hustle sneaks through and gets a Mini of Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Yeah, Charlie Hustle just like really jumping through there, like wasting no time getting through the pack, picking up yet another Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
That time I think she just coasted through the pack. Another 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls, and Charlie Hustle is around the track again, making her way through the pack. Another Mini of Madison Grand Slam for Charlie Hustle and the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like Jocelyn Hell-Burnell is through the pack and is going to be following up on Charlie Hustle, but Charlie is going to call off the jam before any further points can be scored.
That brings the Reservoir Dolls lead to 172 to the Vaudeville Vixens 43.
Got another quick shout out here. Shout out to Frank and Paul. You guys are the best from Walls. Lining up down on the jammer line. Looks like we have Knocking Jay jamming for the Reservoir Dolls in black, with Kenna Vendetta jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in the brown and pink.
Both jammers fighting their way through the pack. Kenna Vendetta finds a hole on the inside, and she gets through. Kenna Vendetta and the Vaudeville Vixens have lead jammer status.
Looks like Knocking Jay is going to break through the pack herself. Work on making that scoring pass. In the meantime, Kenna Vendetta is broken through, picking up 4 points on her pass.
And she calls that jam off before Knocking Jay can score any points for the Reservoir Dolls. Nice jam by Kenna Vendetta and the Vaudeville Vixens. Just what they need there for another 4 points. 47 against the Reservoir Dolls, 172. They're going to have to do that quite a few more times to kind of chip away at the lead the Reservoir Dolls have taken in this bout.
Certainly a not an impossible task, but it will be an uphill battle at this point.
That's right.
Do have another shout out for one of our sponsors, Fast Forward Skate Center. Come down and discover the fun of roller skating.
And that's where all these skaters train and practice at Fast Forward Skate Center. Mouse has been there for for more than 10 years now skating, and she just got through. She's your lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls, picking up a Minnie Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
And she is jamming against Dalek Doll on the Vaudeville Vixens, who is still working her way up against the Reservoir Dolls blockers. Got a bit of a pile of pain happening in the pack there. Dalek Doll and Mouse are through now, though.
Mouse makes her way for another Minnie Madison Grand Slam. She's followed out of the pack that time by Dalek Doll, making her way against the Vaudeville Vixen wall that formed in the back there with a magnitude 10. Montana Slamma, Stank Girl, the Stench Wench, and Berserkly.
Looks like Dalek Doll ended up picking up a back block penalty. So she's going to be heading down to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box to spend 30 seconds. In the meantime, that means Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls have a power jam.
And that's the end of that jam. That means the Reservoir Dolls will start this next jam also with a power jam, while Dalek Doll finishes the remainder of her time in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. I've got another shout out here to Lynn from the CCL lab. To Lynn from the CCL lab. We'd rather be here than curling. All right. And we've got Blitz Siren on the line for the Reservoir Dolls. She'll be jamming this power jam. She's through. She's lead jam, and she's got a birthday today, folks. Let's hear it for Blitz Siren. Reservoir Dolls out there trying to help Blitz Siren through the pack. And she gets through with a Minnie Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Vaudeville Vixens. Dalek Doll out of the penalty box, getting through the pack. And meanwhile, Blitz Siren doing a nice little do-si-do there, turn around, calling the jam off after she scores another 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
We do have a bit of a lost and found item here. Rachel Diana Richardson Williams, we have found your wallet. If you want to come up to the announcer's table and describe it to us, we are more than happy to get it back to you. So if you are missing your wallet, please come on up and report.
We get all the wallets and credit cards and keys and such here. So if you're missing something and we announce it, come on down and see us. Thank you. All right, on the track, we've got Jocelyn Hill-Burnell jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. She's going up against Sprout and a Tail jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. Sprout and a Tail through, and she is lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Sprout and a Tail having a great night tonight. 100% lead jammer statuses when she's on the track as a jammer. She gets through that pack, calls it off, but not before Jocelyn Hill-Burnell can score 2 points for the Vixens. Sprout and a Tail scoring 3 points for the Reservoir Dolls, and that brings them to 199 points. Vaudeville Vixens at 49. Let's hear it for both teams out here tonight. Who's out there in the audience cheering on the Reservoir Dolls? All right, and how many Vaudeville Vixen fans do we have out there? Let's hear it, the Vaudeville Vixens trying to fight their way back from a deficit here. Nefarious jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Wipeout Scout.
Looks like Wipeout Scout has taken lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. She's going to re-engage the pack, working on making her scoring pass. She's held back a bit by Harley Sin and number 22, Hoppy Go Lucky. She does break through, though, and picks up a Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
Nefarious, meanwhile, trying to fight her way past Glockness and the Reservoir Doll wall out there. Glockness continuing to push her to the inside and make her go back and around to recycle to the back of the pack. It looks like that last time she knocked her out, Nefarious was called on a penalty to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box, and that leaves Wipeout Scout on the track with a power jam for the Reservoir Dolls. She'll get a little bit of help from Glockness there, but Jean du Snark and Harley Sin trying to play some defense. Wipeout Scout through for a Mini of Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Ooh, looks like she almost got knocked to the outside by a Harley Sin. Not quite, though. She does make it through for another Mini of Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for her team.
And that brings the Reservoir Dolls over 200 points now. They've got 219. Nefarious back on the track, in from the penalty box. But Wipeout Scout back through the pack again for another 4 points, and she calls that jam off before the Vixens can score any points. And we'd like to take a moment here, another shout out to the audience. We've got a shout out to Autumn. She scheduled surgery to have her tonsils removed so that she'd not only miss the April 11th bout, but tonight's bout as well. She's hardcore. Mandy. So way to go, Autumn. You must have scheduled your surgery so that you'd not miss April 11th bout and tonight's bout. We wish you well on your surgery.
Yeah, another group we would like to welcome tonight is Sam Sudor. Thanks for coming to Derby, Sam.
And look here, Rich, I've got another happy birthday Blitz siren. Kenny Loggins loves you. Do you know any Kenny Loggins songs we could sing to Blitz siren?
Oh, who doesn't know Danger Zone?
Got any good ones? Can't think of any right now. All I can think of are the nap time songs I used to listen to with the kids, the Kenny Loggins. All right.
All right, looking back down to the Plan B jammer line. Looks like we have Shantastic McAwesome jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Charlie Hustle for the Reservoir Dolls.
And you're saved from my singing of Kenny Loggins, luckily, with action back on the track. Charlie Hustle fighting against a wall of Vixens up in front. Shantastic McAwesome against a wall of Reservoir Dolls in back.
Yeah, it looks like she's doing what she can to get by there, but they are aggressively blocking her back there, trying to recycle her to the back.
And Charlie Hustle makes her way through, and she is lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls getting a lot of the lead jammer status this evening in the bout. Shantastic McAwesome does make her way through the pack. And Charlie Hustle now on her point-scoring pass, trying to get past the Vixens. She does so, calls off the jam, and gets another 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls before the Vixens can score any more points. All right. All right, we got a shout out to the amazing announcers. Thank you for all you do. Thanks, Rich.
Hey, thank you, Dolly.
All right, we got a shout out here to Sprout. They've got a great idea, a Sprout Out. Let's change shout outs to Sprout Outs. Sprout out there on the track, blocking for the Reservoir Dolls, and it looks like we've got Shenanigans jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She's up against Kenna Vendetta for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Shenanigans breaking through to take lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls. I believe I spy a back block penalty happening on Kenna Vendetta. So this is going to be a power jam for Shenanigans and the Reservoir Dolls.
Meanwhile, Kenna Vendetta will be sent to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box for 30 seconds. Vaudeville Vixens will have to play some tight defense so as not to allow Shenanigans and the Reservoir Dolls to score too many more points against them.
We'll see what Hoppy-Go-Lucky, Tipsy Velvet, and Donna Stunner can get done. Looks like Montana Slamma was just sent to the penalty box for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And that was after knocking Shenanigans out and trying to recycle her to the back of the pack. Something that Tipsy Velvet and Donna Stunner and Hoppy-Go-Lucky are doing quite well, knocking Shenanigans to the outside or inside and making her recycle around to the back of the pack. Kenna Vendetta back in on the track from the penalty box, and she gets through.
Yep, she is now eligible to begin scoring. However, Shenanigans is going to call off that jam after picking up 4 points.
And the Reservoir Dolls doing a good job tonight of not allowing the Vaudeville Vixens to score many points. They get lead jam, get the points scored, and then call that jam off before the Vaudeville Vixens can score any more points in the jam.
Yeah, we do have a score of Reservoir Dolls 237 against the Vaudeville Vixens 49 with 16 minutes remaining in this second half of the bout. Looks like we are going to have an official timeout.
And that gives me a great moment here to give some sprout outs. That's right. Whoever wrote that last one also gave some more sprout outs. We've got a sprout out here to Blitz Siren. Siren, Siren. A sprout out to Mouse. Mouse, we love you. Another sprout out to Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle, we love you. And a sprout out to Heat. Heat, you are awesome. And one more sprout out to Lip Smacker, Knocking Jay, Glockness, Rez Dolls, we love you. All right, that's I think all the sprout outs we've got there. We'll get back to a few more shout outs.
In the meantime, we will give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Gail Ambrosius Chocolatier. Fine chocolates handmade at 2086 Atwood Avenue in Madison.
And on the jammer line, we've got Berserkly jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. She's going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. And the Vaudeville Vixens trying to hold on to Mouse. They knock her to the outside, but also go down. Mouse gets up, and she is lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Berserkly trying to fight past the wall of Reservoir Dolls up there. And she finally gets through, but Mouse on her scoring pass already gets through the pack. And it looks like she's calling that jam off. Bringing the Reservoir Dolls up to 241 points. The Vaudeville Vixens at 49 with a little over 15 minutes to go in this jam. And looking at the points here, we've got a lot of the Rez Dolls with some major points on the board. Sprout and a Tail and Wipeout Scout, both racking up 54 points for the Reservoir Dolls. Blitz Siren, 40 points. And then Charlie Hustle and Mouse get it. Charlie Hustle getting 37, Mouse getting 36. So a lot of high scores there from those jammers.
Yep, heading back down to the action on the track. Looks like Feminine Hijinks started jamming for the Vixens. However, there has been a star pass. She has passed her star over to Nefarious. Nefarious is now making a scoring pass, picking up a grand slam and 5 points. With the Reservoir Doll jammer Blitz Siren hot on her heels, just barely eking out in front of her. Now, even though Nefarious did get out first, she is not the lead jammer since
That's right.
somebody to whom the star has been passed cannot be lead jam. However, that's not stopping Nefarious from picking up another 4 points on that pass.
And she just had an amazing apex jump there. Nefarious jumping over the apex and past the blockers on the Reservoir Dolls, bringing the Vixens up to 58 points. On the Plan B jammer line, we've got Sprout Natail for the Reservoir Dolls. She's jamming up against Dalek Doll for the Vaudeville Vixens.
All right, jam begins. Looks like Dalek Doll is going to take a little spill against some of the Reservoir Doll blockers at the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Sprout Natail working up against the Vaudeville Vixens blockers at the front of the pack. Dalek Doll almost eking in around the inside to take lead jam, but not quite. Got recycled to the back by, I believe, Shenanigans.
And that gives way to Sprout Natail getting out of the pack. She is lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Sprout Natail making her way past with a little bit of fancy footwork past those Vixens. She gets by and scores a Minnie Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls and another 5 points, while Dalek Doll still stuck in the pack for the Vaudeville Vixens. Vaudeville Vixen wall of A magnitude, Jocelyn Helbernell, Mustang and Feminine Hijinks trying to fight against Sprout Natail. She does call the jam off, but scores 2 more points before that jam ends. And let's give another couple shout outs here. We've got one. It's better with Shay, but her.
Got another shout out here. I love you very much, Mom. Love, Amara.
Aw. Lots of love out here. We've got another happy birthday shout out to Siren. Happy birthday, Siren, my buddy. Love the heat. And the heat out there blocking for the Reservoir Dolls, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. We've got Wipeout Scout, and jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens, we've got Shantastic McAwesome.
Looks like Wipeout Scout has broken through to take lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Shantastic McAwesome working on slipping her way through the Reservoir Dolls' defense. However, Mouse is going to try to knock her back under the inside. She does break through, but she is not your lead jammer. That belongs to Wipeout Scout, who's coming around for another pass against the pack here.
And she meets up with some of the blockers in the back of the pack there, some Vaudeville Vixen blockers. Meanwhile, Shantastic McAwesome threw the pack on the inside for 4 points for the Vaudeville Vixens. Making her way around the track. Wipeout Scout fighting to get past Hoppy Go Lucky, Tipsy Velvet, Kenna Vendetta on the Vaudeville Vixens, and Donna Stunner there. And it looks like Wipeout Scout is going to be sent to the penalty box for a track cut. That will leave... Oh, Shantastic McAwesome was also sent to the penalty box right after Wipeout Scout. So Wipeout Scout released once Shantastic McAwesome hits the penalty box, and then Shantastic McAwesome back on the track again. Both jammers trying to bring the other one back, or Wipeout Scout bringing Shantastic McAwesome back to the back of the pack. And now they're both fighting through a wall of blockers.
It looks like the jam clock is going to expire.
And Wipeout Scout getting 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls there. 1 point goes up for the Vixens. That brings our score to 63 points for the Vaudeville Vixens, 262 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
To give another quick sponsor shout out here to Glass Nickel Pizza East. In pizza we trust. Got another shout out to the High Noon Saloon, voted Madison's favorite live music venue and Madison's favorite place for karaoke.
And on the track now we've got Busta Crimes jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. Busta Crimes breaking way through the pack, and she's lead jam. She gets around the track for a point-scoring pass and gets a Minnie Madison grand slam. And it looks like we've got Whiskey and Choke is jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. She makes her way through the pack and then also comes around the track. I think that happened so fast I didn't see it, but Busta Crimes hit the back of that pack.
Yeah. Picked up a back block penalty.
Got called to the penalty box.
Go hanging out in that monkey bar gym penalty box for another 30 seconds.
And that'll leave Whiskey and Choke and the Vaudeville Vixens with a power jam. Whiskey and Choke making her way through that pack as Busta Crimes was being called out on a penalty. Now she's making her way around again, and it looks like we've got a WORT Back Porch Radio in Madison star pass. Whiskey and Choke passing that star helmet cover to Berserkly. So Berserkly will now take over jamming duties for the Vaudeville Vixens. Berserkly hits the pack and is stopped by the Reservoir Dolls blockers, but just keeps working her way through. Gets knocked down, but she gets right back up again and makes her way through for a Minnie Madison grand slam and another 5 points for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Yeah, it looks like Busta Crimes is going to be coming back around to start making a scoring pass here. No pack is called.
And it looks like Berserkly gets another Minnie Madison grand slam on her way through the pack. Busta Crimes scoring 3 points as she gets through before the jam is called off. I want to thank all of you for staying tonight. I know if you were here for the first bout, you've been here quite a while. Let's give a big round of applause to the Mad Wreckin' Dolls who started our night off. Thanks to the Mad Wreckin' Dolls out there. Our Recreational Roller Derby League. If you are interested, check out Mad Wreckin' Dolls on Facebook. Check out our website, Mad Rollin' Dolls. You can also get a link to the Mad Wreckin' Dolls there. And that'll also give you lots of information on our upcoming summer bouts as well as activities. Remember, we've got a championship bout coming up in just a couple weeks, May 9th. Mark your calendars and come on back.
Looks like we are just about ready to get back to the action here. Before that, though, I'd like to give another shout out to one of our sponsors, Hometown Pilates. Fitness, the way nature intended. Corrective exercise for peak performance. Hometown Pilates.
Thank you to them and all our sponsors. One more sponsor out there I want to thank is Rockabetty's Salon and Spa. Offers an array of unique and fun services such as nail parties and mobile wedding hairstyles and makeup services. Yes, they come to you for your special day. Rockabetty's Salon and Spa. And on the jammer line, it looks like we've got Lip Smacker jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She'll be jamming up against Nefarious for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Yeah, it looks like our official timeout has ended. We are ready to start this next jam. Looks like 2 of the Reservoir Dolls blockers are going to start in the penalty box, so a little bit of an advantage to the Vaudeville Vixens here.
Yep, Vaudeville Vixens have 1 blocker in the penalty box. But it's a little bit easier to get past 2 than it is to get past 3. And Nefarious out in front. She is lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. Lip Smacker making her way through the pack. Racing to catch up to Nefarious. That pack moving kind of fast and Nefarious getting past. Making her way past 4 points for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Looks like that brings our score to Reservoir Dolls 270, Vaudeville Vixens 86, with just over 6 minutes remaining in this game. Take an opportunity to give another quick shout out to our sponsor, Ian's Pizza. Ian's Pizza, 2 downtown locations offering carryout and delivery. Salad, pizza, vegan, and gluten-free options. www.ianspizza.com. Here to help, one slice at a time.
I'm hungry. But back to the action on the track. We've got Jocelyn Hell-Burnell jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Glockness of the Reservoir Dolls. Glockness through the pack, and she is your lead jammer. And Glockness hitting the back of the pack, knocking down a Dalek Doll on the Vaudeville Vixens and just fighting her way through.
It looks like Dalek Doll is recovered there from that hit. Looks like we got Jocelyn Hell-Burnell working her way through the pack, almost getting by Mouse.
She tries to make her way past the last couple Reservoir Doll blockers. Mouse trying to put up a fight there. She gets past, but not lead jammer. The lead jammer was Glockness, but it looks like she has been sent to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. So Jocelyn Hell-Burnell will be the only jammer on the track.
Yeah, it looks like she tried an apex jump there, but ended up taking a little spill at the end, allowing the Reservoir Dolls blockers to get back around in front of her. But she has now passed the star to number 66, Mustang.
And Mustang will take over jamming duties for the Vixens. But Glockness back on the track and out of the penalty box for the Reservoir Dolls. Just got through that pack and scored a Minnie Madison Grand Slam for the Reservoir Dolls. Meanwhile, Mustang fighting up against Full Frontal Judity, Wipeout Scout, and Mouse up there with the heat. Trying to put on the heat against the Vaudeville Vixens. Glockness through the pack again. Jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. All right, A Magnitude going down, but getting up quickly, being okay out there. Some hard-hitting, fast action on the track. Both of these teams still just playing tough out there, even though the point score is a little bit big of a differential now. You know, these are more
a little difficult to make up in 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
That's true, but
the
what
Vixens
I love about
don't
this
stop
sport
fighting, though,
is that they don't stop fighting. Those Vixens keep playing. The other team keeps playing too, and both teams out there trying their best to work each jam and give you guys a good show. Let's hear it for these teams out there. We've got Shantastic McAwesome jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. She's up against Blitz Siren jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, and we've got another shout out for Blitz Siren. Happy birthday, Blitz Siren, from Amara.
And believe it or not, I actually have another shout out here that says, happy birthday, Blitz Siren.
Happy birthday to you, Blitz Siren.
Lots of people excited about Blitz Siren's birthday today.
And Shantastic McAwesome getting through the pack and scoring a Minnie Madison Grand Slam for the Vaudeville Vixens. That jam ends before the Reservoir Dolls can score any more points. And we'll line up another jam for these last couple minutes.
Real quick, got a few more shout outs to get through here. Looks like we have a shout out to Powers. Date Mimi, please. So Powers, if you're out there, may want to consider dating Mimi. Got another shout out to Gemini. She ate 2 ice cream cones tonight. Congrats on your accomplishment. Getting back down to the action on the track, we have Calla DeWild jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, taking lead jam for her team. She is jamming up against Berserk Lee for the Vaudeville Vixens, who is currently working up against the back of the pack as a full wall of Reservoir Dolls defense is working to stop her. In the meantime, Calla DeWild jumps the apex, getting past all those blockers, picks up a Minnie of Madison Grand Slam for 5 points for her team. As we have the rest of our jammers and skaters lining up on the line, I'd like to give another shout out to another one of our sponsors, Mad City Music, Madison's best selection of new and used vinyl. I'd like to give another shout out to Malot's Pharmacy, another sponsor of the Mad Rollin' Dolls. Locations on Madison's east and west side, and new locations in Lodi and Wanakee. They have costumes, wigs, and theater makeup. Back to the action. We've got Wipeout Scout jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Nefarious for the Vaudeville Vixens. Looks like Nefarious is broken through to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. However, she is followed close behind by Wipeout Scout. Wipeout Scout looking to close that gap between them as the pack kind of slows down. The Reservoir Doll blockers get a lineup going in the back. Nefarious tries to break through. Not quite gonna happen. Calls off the jam. We have just under 50 seconds remaining in this half. So time for one, maybe two more jams, depending on how these play out. Take
Still
another
some
moment.
Great action to be seen.
Yep. Do have a few more sponsors we would like to show some love to before we get wrapped up today. The Malt House, Madison's craft beer oasis, down on Milwaukee and East Wash.
And on the jammer line, we've got Dalek Doll jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Charlie Hustle for the Reservoir Dolls. Charlie Hustle getting through that pack first, and she is lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Meanwhile, the Reservoir Dolls, Jean Lane and Busta Crimes fighting against Dalek Doll, not allowing her to get past. Charlie Hustle getting through the pack for a Minia Madison Grand Slam and another 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like the period clock has ended, so all that's left now is to wait for the jam to be called or for the time to run out.
And let's hear it for both jammers on the track. Let's hear it for both teams here.
Dalek Doll working to stay ahead of Charlie Hustle here. She is going to sneak around, get a little apex jump there.
And she tries to jump over, but I think is caught up on one of the skaters that she tried to get over, and so is called to the penalty box. That'll leave Dalek Doll in the penalty box for the Vixens. Charlie Hustle on the track, continuing to jam for the Reservoir Dolls. She gets the signal from the bench and calls the jam. That is the final for this bout. Let's hear it for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls winning this bout, 303 points to the Vaudeville Vixens, 97.
Yep, so the Reservoir Dolls will go on to face the Unholy Rollers in the finals on May 9th. And the Vaudeville Vixens will face off against the Quad Squad.
All right, we invite you all to join us at the after party at the Inferno at 1718 Commercial Avenue. Remember, this is going to be the last after party for the Mad Rollin' Dolls at the Inferno ever. So come on and join us down there.
Yep, admission is free with your ticket stub, so bring that on down, come on in and have a party with us. We'd also like to give some thanks to some of our specific sponsors. Plan B, sponsoring the Jammer line. Madison's favorite gay bar and dance club, Be Out, Be Proud, Just Be. Monkey Bar Gym, sponsoring the penalty box, where Derby girls work out to be strong enough for Derby. The officials timeout sponsor, 105.5 Triple M with the 2-minute promise timeout. WRT Back Porch Radio Madison sponsoring our Star Pass, and Mini of Madison sponsoring our Grand Slams.
And we'd also like to thank our bout charity tonight, and that's Community Shares of Wisconsin. Thanks for being here. Thank you all for coming and supporting Community Shares of Wisconsin. We want to thank the Badger Band members for performing at each of our intermissions and halftimes, as well as the Black Hawk Men's Choir for singing our national anthem. Yep. And thank you to all of you fans out there for supporting